We're going to do it again. Alrighty, that is it. Time for yoga. We'll start in mountain pose. Just take your time to come to a standing position. We'll just continue to prepare for our practice. You might start with a few deep breaths. Nice full inhale. Maybe an exhale through your mouth with a sigh. A little circle of the shoulders just to feel that release, that relief. Maybe one more time if you'd like. A nice full breath in and the complete exhale. Just helping you to fully arrive in the space. And as you continue with your slow, steady breathing, making this mindful connection. Connecting to self, being here, present and aware. So just feeling your breath, aware of how your body is responding to the breath. The rise and fall of your chest, your belly, even your shoulders might be lightly lifting and relaxing. Listen to the sound of your breath. It doesn't have to be too loud, but just enough where you can just feel the breath and hear your breath. Continuing to assess how you're feeling at this moment. A little mental scan of your body from head right down to your feet. Even add some movement if it feels good, just to help you to check in. Like, how are your shoulders? How are your hips? How's your back? How are your knees? We will be focusing on pigeon pose and just various ways to do pigeon pose or that particular hip opener. And just one last sensation to connect with. As you inhale, just feel breath rising to fill your lungs. Nice expansiveness up top. And your exhale, just draw your belly button in towards your spine as you create the abdominal lock, that light contraction of your belly. Again, a breath in. Feeling the breath rise, maybe a lengthening in the spine. Exhaling. Connecting to your core center. Let's just take 3 more breaths, listening to the sound of the breath, feeling your breath, engaging Ujjayi breath with the abdominal lock. When you're ready to move, inhale and extend your arms overhead and just treat it like a nice stretch. Reach all the way up. Good, and exhale, we'll fold forward, so we're hinging at the hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and just take your time. Just fold forward. You might touch your toes, but of course you don't have to touch your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees and extend your spine, a long, flat back. In the exhale, you can stay here or fold back down towards your toes or even just fold a little bit. So you just kind of check in with your body. Continue to assess how you're feeling. And now in this forward fold posture, aware of the sensations that arise here. Maybe a stretch and lengthening through your hamstrings, your lower glutes. How about your low back or all the way down your back? Check in with your shoulders, your head and neck. Let's prepare our bodies to stand. So shift your weight into your heels. Bend your knees to lower your hips like you're sitting down, lifting the chest. Just extend the arms out as we inhale, then all the way up. Reach into the air. And exhale, you can either bring your hands down to your heart or arms down to your side. Just finishing here. Go through that half salute once again, just moving at your own pace. Inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and up. Good energy in your hands and fingers. Exhale, lead with your heart. Fold forward, soft knees, all the way down or partially down. We'll make this flow, but take your time. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins, your knees to create the extended spine. Exhale, either hold here or fold completely or partially. Ready to stand. Shift weight into the heels, bend your knees, lower your hips, lift your upper body, arms out to the side. That's it. Inhale, reach up a little higher as you're able. Exhale, palms together and down to your heart or arms down to your side. Finishing that sequence. We'll take a moment, take another breath or two. Continue to feel your breath, listening to the sound of your breath. Let it guide you in your practice today. Let's continue. We'll add on. Inhale, taking the arms out and up. Big stretch. Exhale, fold forward or swan dive forward. Back down we go. Inhale, rise up halfway. Let's exhale, fold. Bend your knees all the way down so we can place the hands on the mat out in front of you. Walk or step both feet back into plank pose. Nice high push-up position. Yes, nice and strong in your body. Breathe in. And as you exhale, bend your knees a little and send your hips up into the air. Our shortcut to downward facing dog. As we arrive here, you might need to adjust your foot position, maybe your hand position on your mat so you don't feel like you're going to slip. And just hold here or add movement here. The movement might be a little pedaling of the feet, getting a stretch in your calves and your toes. Let the knees bend. Maybe your hips shift side to side. Even allow or feel how your chest and head sink between the arms, opening the chest, opening the shoulders. If you need to rest, you can always come down to your knees, continue movement by going through cat and cow, or rest completely in child's pose. Good, ready to move from here. A nice full breath in. Fill up your lungs. Exhale. Start to connect to your core center. Bend your knees, walk, step, or hop. Both feet back up to the top of the mat. You'll be in forward fold. Inhale, lengthening through your spine. Feel the crown of your head lead you forward. Exhale, back down. Weight shift into your heels. Bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up, reach high. Let's keep it moving. Exhale, take chair pose. Sitting back as if you're sitting back and down into a seat. We're going to hold here for a moment, so feel free to maybe lower your arms, maybe just to parallel to the floor, and just reach forward. Maybe sit back and down a little deeper, not much. Nice balance, good leg strengthening here. We're going to breathe in, then exhale, dive out of your seat towards toes, forward fold. Inhale, rising halfway up. Yeah. Exhale, fold. Hands return to the earth. Hop or step the feet back into plank pose. Another nice pause here. You can take that same shortcut to down dog if you'd like, or with your exhale, bend elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs, and lower your body, finishing the push-up. Find a back bend. It could be a low cobra like this, or upward facing dog as you inhale. Then exhale, return to downward facing dog, and we'll always meet there together. Downward facing dog. Adjust your feet, adjust your hands, settle into your pose. And we'll add on. Let's extend the right leg up and back. Reaching for the back wall is good. Then exhale, let's step right foot to the top of the mat. Just somewhere behind the right hand should do it. Turn your left heel to the floor behind you. Again, put some weight into that back foot. Feel some balance and security. Light hands so you can hinge from hips as you inhale. Rise up here. Let's just hold for a moment. Reach up. Lunge low. Noticing the sensation here in the left hip flexor, starting to open up the hips a little bit as we kind of get ready for our pigeon poses. Inhale. Exhale, hinge and fold. Let's bring the hands back down to the mat. Slide or pull the right foot back to meet the other. Take your shortcut to down dog or go through the full vinyasa. You can modify by bringing knees to the floor first, then your chest. You can modify that back bend, keeping it low if you'd like. And then meeting in downward facing dog. Again, make sure you make some adjustments to fully arrive in your pose. And inhale, extend left leg up and back, reaching long. Exhale, let's step left foot to the top of the mat. Nice light landing. Right heel turns to the floor, putting weight into that back foot. Nice. Light hand so you can rise up and hold here on our exhale. So here's our warrior one. Nice reach, nice lunge. Here's our right hip flexor. Getting a little stretch with that outer rotation of that leg. Inhale, here we go. Exhale, hinge, fold, right back down to the earth. Plant the hands, slide left foot back, plank pose, and complete your series as you'd like. Don't forget you have the shortcut available to you to move right into down dog. Take your time, and once you do arrive in down dog, just take a breath or two. We're going to do a little floor work, so gently kneel down. briefly sit back into hero, but you are going to take a seat, so sit. Bring the legs around to the front. Leave some space behind you so you can roll down onto your back. Go ahead and hug the knees into chest. You can add some movement here as it feels good for your back, your hips, even your feet. Find your breath again. So a couple of basic hip openers here. So just continue to hold on to your knees or shins. Just lightly flex the feet, not too much, not too strongly. And just take the legs wide. So you get a little stretch in the inner legs. I like to call this kind of a variation of happy baby pose. So you can just keep this as your happy baby pose, or go ahead and take the feet up towards the ceiling, reach up to grab hold of the soles of the feet or the ankles, and just the weight of your hands on your feet or holding on to the legs will draw the legs down. So you kind of get this like frog's legs. Bent knees, slightly turned out, weight of the body, just drawing downward to get that hip opener. So a few breaths here. And we'll transition by bringing the soles of the feet together. Hold on to your feet or ankles in your hands, reclining cobbler's pose. So the effort here is sending the heels directly down toward your pelvis. Meanwhile, your knees or legs are pushing forward gently towards the front edge or corners of your mat. Just check in with your back and notice if it feels flat on the ground. Ideally, it is. And this is just the reclining version of our bound angle pose or cobbler's pose, because we often do this seated, and it's just the same sensation as the seated posture. Let's take the resting version of this by setting the feet onto the floor. Feet are still touching, the soles of the feet still touching, knees are bent, and just let gravity open the hips. And this allows you to relax a little bit into the pose and just feel that natural stretch. Just a few breaths here in this posture. We'll take 2 more. We'll reactivate the body. So after your second breath, just bring the knees together, draw them again towards yourself. And as you're able, rocking gently forward and back to rock up to seated or roll to your side. So you can press yourself up to seated. We'll come to boat pose. So let's get into some core work. So you can keep the feet on the floor if you like, with flexed feet, or maybe you've leaned back a bit, lifting the feet off the floor. You might start with bent knees. You can hold on to your legs to help you extend the spine, feel lifted. Inhaling to feel the extended torso, lengthening through the spine, and of course filling up the lungs. And you exhale, perhaps through the mouth. That'll allow you to feel the air leave your belly so you can feel the contraction there too. If you get tired and if your feet are lifted, just set the feet on the floor, just holding a little bit longer, just tapping into our core strength. And we'll get ready to move here, breathing in first. And the exhale, maybe crossing legs if you can, hands out in front of the crossed legs or to your side. Just swing the feet back or hop the feet back. Plank pose, strong straight line. Pause for strength. Shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, send your hips into the sky, adjust your feet and hands, and there's our arrival. Continue. Let's inhale, extend right leg up, reaching back energetically, and then right foot to the top of the mat. Back to our warrior 1, set up, left heel to the earth. Find your balance by shifting the weight back. Yeah, light hands rising up. Exhale, opening to your left. You'll be in warrior 2 as arms come down to parallel. Yeah, adjust your feet so you continue to have a strong foundation. Just hold here for a moment, because this too is a hip opener. Let's follow the right hand forward just to angle the upper half of the body, and we'll rotate the arms, guiding us into side angle pose, Parshva Konasana. Yeah, feel free to stay up high if you want to. Your arm or your hand could be on your thigh. Okay, if you need to start there, and maybe gradually, very slowly, make your way down. as if your right hand might touch the floor, but it never needs to touch the floor. Let's breathe in. And exhale, we'll turn and fold. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step back, plank pose, just allowing the body to realign for a second. Another shortcut to down dog. Bend knees, hips into the air, downward facing dog. Good. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg up and away. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat, setting ourselves up. You can take your time with these transitions. Right heel to the floor, shifting back. You know it. Rising up. Exhale, opening to your right side. There's our warrior two. Arms to parallel. Adjust your feet. Yeah, settle in. Arrive and feel where you are. Side angle. Let's reach out. Follow the left arm forward. Rotate the arms. Yeah, always okay to stay up high. Remain here, or gradually, incrementally go lower so you don't feel like you're stressing the body, overwhelming the body. We certainly don't want to do that. Excellent, good poses. Let's breathe in. Here we go. Exhale, we'll turn and fold, hands to the floor, back to plank pose. You can still take the shortcut to down dog to finish, or chaturanga dandasana to finish the whole sequence. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Nice full breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop. Both feet return to the top of the mat. You'll be in forward fold. Inhale, extend through spine. Exhale, fold again. Weight shift into your heels. Bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Let's come up, reach high. Okay. Keep going. We're going to exhale, bring the arms out and down, and then behind you. Just reach back with the hands. Energetically reach, so maybe open hands, like you're trying to reach the back corners of your mat. Stay here, or if you're able, interlace your fingers, reaching down towards the floor with the knuckles. And if the shoulders can still move, maybe roll the shoulders back, a little squeeze of the shoulder blades together behind you. Maintain a nice long neck. We're going to slightly bend the knees, just let them jet forward a little bit and tip over, kind of like chair pose, but you don't have to go too deep. Now you can stay here, or gradually sit back and down a little deeper and even fold. Okay? You can always pause anywhere. You can stop anywhere. You don't have to go all the way down. Okay? But just a sensation of the arms behind you, either reaching through with the hands or interlaced fingers with this little slight bow. We're going to rise back up, so straighten the legs, stand up tall, release the fingers. Inhale, reach up into the sky. And exhale, swan dive forward. Just going to keep it moving. Make your way down towards toes. Inhale, rising halfway up. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, hands to the earth, hop or step back, plank pose. Come down if you'd like. Chaturanga dandasana, modify if you need to, or just skip it. You can always skip it. Up dog or cobra, finishing in down dog. Okay, inhale, extend right leg up. Hold for a moment just to continue that extension of that right leg. Let's open the hip here too. Bend your right knee. Yes, bring your heel down toward your backside as you slightly lift the knee up towards the ceiling. You get a rotation in the spine. Hip opens to the right side of the room. Breathe in. Exhale, unwind. Let's step right foot to the top of the mat. Back to warrior one. Root that left heel down. Find balance. Rise up. Then exhale, opening to warrior two. Just settle into your pose. We're going to do something a little different here. Okay. You're going to inhale, just reach out more with the arms. Exhale, bring the arms down behind you. If you can, interlace the fingers, just like we did in standing. Feel the knuckles root down towards the floor. If you can, roll the shoulders back. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Okay, we're going to turn the torso a little bit towards this left corner of the room. Just turning. You'll be at an angle probably. Inhale, tip your chin up just to open the heart. Exhale, lead with your heart and fold. Now your torso might just land and stop on your thigh. That's perfect. Or if you can or want to, swing away from the leg and go deeper into this fold. So this is humble warrior. Yes, interlaced fingers if you can. They might just be resting on your low back, or maybe you can lift the hands slightly away from your body or up towards ceiling, just depending on how your shoulders feel. Nice. Now we're going to inhale and just come all the way back up. Release the fingers, face forward, and bring your arms up into the air. You'll be in Warrior One. Okay, right there, Warrior One. And then hinge and fold, hands back down to the ground. Slide right foot back, plank pose. Again, complete the series as you'd like. So we just added that humble warrior, getting some arm and shoulder work as well as the hip work. Once you're in down dog, no rush. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Hold for that continued extension, and then we'll open the hip. Bend your left knee. Yes, knee is lifting up towards the ceiling. Heel is coming down. That nice rotation, hip opener. Breathe in. Exhale to unwind, step through. Left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel to the earth. Root and connect. Find your center. Rise up, first warrior. Exhale, opening warrior two. Adjust your foundation and get ready for our humble warrior. Okay, so reach out more with the arms, inhale. Exhale, arms down behind you as you're able, interlace fingers. Root down, shoulders roll back, squeeze shoulder blades together. And then turn your torso towards this right corner of the room. Inhale, just tip the chin up as you feel the heart opens. Exhale, fold. And again, the torso might just land and stop right there on the thigh. That's good. Or even away from the leg to go a little deeper. Again, just going to a place that just feels okay for your body. If you went too low, then just come back up. If you need to release the folded fingers, release and just reach. Yes, just in case this is a little aggravating on the shoulders or elbow joints. Okay, we'll inhale and hinge our way back up. Release the fingers, face forward. Arms shoot up in the air. You'll be in Warrior One. And then hinge and fold. Hands return to the earth. Slide left foot back, plank pose. Complete the series if you'd like. Shortcut is fine. Pause in down dog. Do a little bit more work on the floor. So bend the knees, kneel down, sit back. Get the legs around to the front. Go ahead and roll down onto your back. So we're going to be doing pigeon poses. So let's do our first pigeon pose. So you're going to lie on your back. Go ahead and hug knees into chest if you'd like. We'll check in with your breath and body. And then we'll just place the feet back down onto the floor. So we like to call this two names. One typical name, common name, is reclining pigeon, but the formal name is eye of the needle pose. So we'll start by picking up the left foot, cross left ankle over right thigh. And when you cross it, flex that left foot. And you want the left knee to point to the left side of the room. Now, if this is enough of a hip opener, stay here. If it's not enough, pick up the right foot off the floor and draw the legs toward yourself. Now, that space between the legs, that's the eye of the needle. Your left hand and arm is the thread. So go ahead and thread the eye of the needle. And you'll use your hands to either hold on to your right leg, it can be your hamstrings or the right shin, whatever you can reach. And here, you do want to flex both feet if both feet are off the floor. Just flex the feet. It just helps to energize the body, stabilize the hips, and just keeps you attentive. You can gauge how much sensation you want. You can draw the legs closer to your body. You can even lift your upper body up towards the cross leg for more sensation if you want. You can always release that tension by moving the leg away. So when we do get to pigeon, a regular pigeon, and if that doesn't feel quite right for your joints for any reason, you can always come back to this variation. Let's just add one more thing. Let's extend the right leg into the air. So just hold onto that right leg and extend the leg. I have the foot lightly flexed, right heel reaching for the ceiling. So feet are still active. Little hip opener here. 2 more breaths. And after that second breath, you'll bend that right knee, set that foot onto the floor, uncross the legs, and just keep the feet on the mat, knees bent, and just maybe a breath or two, and just allow the body to calm, to relax, and to realign. Good. Yeah, tapping into breath once again. We'll set up for the other side. Whenever you're ready, we'll pick up the right foot now, cross right ankle over left knee or thigh, flexing that right foot. We do want the right knee to kind of point out to the right side of the room. Okay. Stay here or lift the left foot up off the floor. And here's the eye of the needle. The right hand and arm is our thread. Let's thread the needle. Hold on to the left shin or the left hamstrings. Notice the sensations. Check in. Breathe. Modify if you need to. Release some of the tension. Maybe set the foot back down onto the floor. Take a little break. If you need a little bit more, draw the legs in a little closer or even lift your upper body up towards this crossed leg. Let's add the extended left leg. Lightly flexing the foot, heel reaching for the ceiling. Two more breaths. And then when you're ready, let's bend the left knee, set the foot onto the floor. We'll uncross the right leg, set it onto the floor, relax. Let everything realign. And when you feel ready, let's draw knees into chest. We're going to rock our way back up to seated. So we can come to boat pose again. So set yourself up. You might just come to seated first and then just kind of make your way into the posture. Or if you can, maybe rock up right into boat. Lifting, lengthening through spine, good breathing. Exhaling through the mouth, core engagement. Active feet, just like we did with the legs crossed in our cross-legged or our reclining pigeon pose. I like to have the shins maybe parallel to the floor. You can even play with extending the legs here. Okay, we're gonna move. Breathe in. Then exhale, cross legs, hands in front or to the side, feet back behind you, strong straight line, plank pose. Soft knees, send hips to sky, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop, both feet up to the top of the mat to forward fold. Inhale, lengthening through spine. Exhale, refold. Maybe just hold here for a couple breaths just to return to that sensation of nice stretched out hamstrings or released back perhaps and shoulders. Good. And then shift weight into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Let's come all the way up. A nice big stretch here at the top, reaching for the ceiling. Then exhale, arms down to your side. All righty. Do some balancing. Let's hop into tree pose, and then we're going to change that into a cross-legged chair pose. Let's do our tree pose first. Not only are they balancing postures, but they're hip openers. So balanced on 2 feet, soft knees. Start shifting weight into your right foot. That's our grounded connection there. Inhale, nice and long through the spine, fill up the lungs. Exhale, pull belly in. That's our security. So we can pick up left foot, flexing the foot like we did in boat pose. Take the knee out to the side or just corner of the room. And placing foot on the inner leg. Either up high if you can. You don't have to place it here, or down low, or even lower still. Use the floor. Inhale, take the arms into the air. Nice positions. You can take them straight up, out like a V, maybe bent elbows. Here's another position, hands to heart, or even hands together at the top. So the more that you reach up, wherever your arms are, that lifting sensation creates that open hip expression here. Keep the arms up. We'll swing the left knee forward, lift knee with the flexed foot, plant the foot into the ground, and your arms can return to your side. If you got a little tired, just shake all that loose. Even the feet. We'll do the other side. Setting yourself up. Here's our balancing on 2 feet. Soft knees. Now we'll shift weight into the left foot root. Inhale, long spine, fill up the lungs. Exhale, engage the abdominal lock. We're ready. Picking up right foot, flex it, maybe thighs parallel to the floor. We swing that gate open until it just naturally stops. And then foot to inner leg. If you want to try it up here at the inner thigh, you might need to hold on to it. That's fine. You can work with that. Or down lower. Then inhale, extend one arm or both arms, depending on if you're holding onto this foot or a wall even. Good breathing, really feeling the extension of the body, so we make the space in the hips. Good. Let's keep the arms extended. We'll swing the right knee forward now, lifting knee, flexed foot, plant the foot into the earth, rebalance on 2 feet, and then the arms can come down. And then just shake that loose. Okay? So we're going to mimic, stay where you are, we're going to mimic this pose here. Okay? And we had the cross leg in our reclining pigeon pose. We're just going to do it in that chair pose. So it takes a little balance. We've done this before. I'm just going to turn this way. So let's return to soft knees on 2 feet. We'll put weight into the right foot. Make sure the knees are pretty bent here. We are going to pick up the left foot. Imagine you're kicking a soccer ball out the door into the hallway, and then cross that ankle over thigh, flexing this foot. So this knee is pointing towards the window. Place your hands on your hips, because sometimes what happens with a cross leg like this, okay, that leg is heavier, we might dip. Okay, we want to see if we can keep it centered and balanced as best as we can. Now, if you prefer not to cross up here, or it's just not feeling right in the hip or knee, cross at the shin. Use the floor, toes on the floor. That works. Okay. Now, with hands on hips, sit back and down into a chair. You don't have to go too far. It's part of that balancing work. Now, the hands can stay on hips, or even hands on this cross leg, or even reach down. It's like we did earlier. When your hands were behind you, you can fold and maybe go a little deeper, but not necessary. Now, the deeper you go, more sensation you might experience in the hips. Your focus is just kind of out in front of you, helping you with balance. I'm going to rise back up. Even if you lose balance, no worries. Let's bring the arms up, uncross this leg, lifting knee, flex foot, plant the foot into the ground, rebalance, then the arms back down to your side. Now you might need to kind of shake and walk that out. Okay, that's a lot of work. Okay, same thing, getting set for the other side. Soft knees, even softer if you'd like. Shift weight into the left foot, picking up the right foot, kick the soccer ball, okay, cross ankle over thigh. Okay, making sure that you have a nice shelf for that leg. Hands on hips. Okay, don't forget you can also cross at the shin. Okay, hands on hips to ensure you have aligned hips, and start to sit back. Hips go back, heart comes forward. Okay. Now the deeper you go, more sensation. Hands can stay on hips, or just maybe hold on or touch this crossed leg, or just reach beyond this crossed leg towards the floor. You might even get low enough to touch the floor. This could eventually lead us to a balancing pose, an arm balancing posture. But we're going to keep it here just for the hip opener. Okay, kind of mimicking another pigeon-like pose with the crossed leg. Focus is out in front, just like tree pose for balance. Okay, we're going to rise back up as you're able. Take both arms up, uncross this leg, lift knee, flexed foot. We'll plant the foot, balanced. Arms down, we're done. Okay, yeah, walk that out. Good job. Okay, let's keep it flowing here. Inhale, reaching both arms into the sky. Exhale, lead with heart, fold forward. Always okay to bend knees, guide your way down towards toes. Maybe a release of head, neck, and shoulders. Take a peek between your knees towards the wall behind you. Inhale, re-extend the spine, rising up halfway. Exhale, fold all the way down, hands to the earth, hop or step back, plank pose. Come down if you'd like, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, hold here for a moment, because we're going to return to that back bend. Okay, up dog. Okay, so slowly shift your body back out to plank pose. Plank pose. Hold for a moment. Now go ahead and finish the push-up. You can certainly bring knees to the floor first, and then lower the chest to the floor. Okay, just join me here. Once you're down, just make sure your legs are long, toes are pointed behind you. You even feel like you're reaching for the back wall with your toes. Now, if your hands feel like they're directly underneath your shoulders, you might need to step them back a little bit towards the ribs. Not too far, okay, just a little bit, because we want to form nice right angles with the arms. You're going to roll the shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades together, squeezing shoulder blades like we did in some of the other poses. Now, push or just start to lift your chest a little bit. Maybe you can tip your head forward so you can see me. I'm pushing down into the floor with the hands to lift. Now my hips are off the floor, but also feel like I'm trying to pull myself forward. Inhale, push down to lift up, drag to go forward. Push and lift, drag to go forward. So that's all happening simultaneously. Pushing down to lift up, but feel like I'm going forward so that I'm not pinching the low back. Now you might be at an angle. You might be like this. Maybe this is your up dog. Or maybe you're able to kind of dip the hip closer to the floor, lift the chest so you're more facing forward for more of a back bend. Okay? Push the hips back. We're going to go to child's pose so we can get out of that back bend. Okay, child's pose. So sit back so you can feel that curvature of the spine. So we just kind of broke down chaturanga a little bit. We're going to do it again, okay? But take your time here in the kind of this counter pose. You can even come up to hands and knees and move through cat and cow if you want to. Okay? And we're going to do that same thing again. Okay? Alrighty, so whenever you're ready, taking your time, maybe coming back up to hands and knees, you can come to a full plank or keep knees on the floor and just lower, finishing the push-up, coming all the way down, getting set up for our back bend again. Okay, so once you're down to the earth, long legs, pointed toes. Hands, if they're underneath shoulders, slide them back a little bit so your arms are more like 90-degree angles. Shoulders lift away from the floor, shoulder blades squeeze together. Start to lift a little bit off the floor, the chest. And then, push down to lift up. Feel like you're pulling forward at the same time. Down, up, pull forward. Push down, lift up, pull forward, okay? Again, you might be at an angle, okay, but if you can continue to come up, you're really facing forward, just being mindful of how that does feel on your low back. If that's too much in the back, then release it. Okay, back to child's pose, or even on your hands and knees and move through cat-cow. Okay, I had us kind of break down that up dog because there's a version of pigeon pose that is a back bend. So maybe take 3 more slow, deep breaths. Again, maybe just in stillness, in your child's pose, or flowing through cat and cow if you want to maintain that mobility in your spine and your hips. Then we'll get set up for our pigeon pose in a moment. So moving in slow motion, you might come up to hands and knees. And then from hands and knees to down dog. You might even step your hands forward a little bit, tuck your toes. With a good exhale, lift the knees away from the ground, hips to sky, head and chest sink between the arms. Then inhale, extend right leg up, bend and twist like we did earlier. Pigeon pose. We're going to unwind and bring right knee to the floor behind the right wrist, and you'll angle this leg. You'll set the left knee onto the floor. It'll be behind that right foot. Use your left knee and toes to crawl back. Okay, this is that balancing, just like we did in the Warrior One setup. I have you shift your body weight back. You're doing the same thing here, just so you're getting less pressure in the hands, but this does add more pressure or sensation in the hips. Then once you're here, inhale, look forward. Exhale, crawl forward. Okay, so this is technically pigeon pose prep. Now remember, check in with this posture. Notice how this feels in your back, your hips, your knees, your ankles. If this isn't quite right today, then flip over onto your back. Okay, and do the reclining pigeon pose or that eye of the needle pose. Okay. You can always change the angle of this leg that's underneath you. Right now, for me, I'm at about 45 degrees. This feels fine for my joints. Ideally, or if you were looking for the full expression of this posture, at least this part of it, the shin would be parallel to the front edge of your mat. It does put more sensation in the hips. Okay, so you can even play with changing the angle of this right leg that's underneath you. And also aware of the left leg extended out behind you Nice hip flexor stretch and extension. Let's just take 2 more breaths here. After the second breath, just slowly come up onto your hands. Just lifting the upper body a little bit, not too much. We're going to sit off to the right side completely. Bring the left leg around to the front. I'm just going to face you. Come to cobbler's pose. So we did this lying down. Now this is just the seated version, sitting up. So holding on to the ankles or toes. Knees, of course, are bent and pointing out. Spine is straight, so nice and tall. Just like your back was flat lying on the ground. So just hold here for a moment. We're not going to stay here too long. Just going to get ready for the other side. So we're just flowing to the other side. So maybe you'll start to lean back. Bring the knees together, going to boat pose. So lift the feet or keep them on the floor. Boat pose, long spine. Take a breath in. We're moving. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front or to the side. Back to plank pose. Feel free just to take a shortcut to down dog. We'll do the other side. So inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend and twist. Here's pigeon pose. Sending left knee to the ground behind the left wrist, angled leg. Right knee will also come down. Use, because you'll notice your weight is up front on the hands. We need to get the weight away from the hands. So we crawl the right leg back, shift back so we sit more into the hips, get into those sensations. Yeah. Inhale for an extended spine. Exhale, lead with your heart going forward, but of course you come down. Maybe down to the elbows. Your head, it might reach the floor, but it doesn't have to reach the floor. You might have a block right there. You can rest your forehead on your block or stack your fists. Make fists and stack them and place your forehead on the fists. Remember to assess how this feels. Change this posture. If you need to flip over onto your back, you have those options. If you want to challenge or just want to try some new things, maybe change the angle of this front leg. Maybe moving towards getting the shin to be more parallel with the front edge of your mat. It really changes it dynamically. Very good. 3 more breaths. Pigeon pose prep. Call it prep because we're getting into the hip openers of this pigeon pose sensation, but there's other variations of this posture that we're going to play with. So this is just getting us ready for them. Okay, so go ahead and use your hands and help lift yourself up just partially. We'll sit off to the left side. Bring this right leg around to the front. Nice way to realign as we come to the seated bound angle pose or cobbler's pose. Yeah, feel free to round the spine. You can fold forward if that feels good for your back and inner legs. Certainly move into that posturing or stay up nice and tall. Okay. Now stay in this pose. Okay, stay in your cobbler's pose, but make sure you can see me. Okay, because we're going to change our leg posture in a moment. Just stay where you are. Let me just quickly demo. Okay, we're going to do double pigeon. So double pigeon is something like, it's basically crossing your legs, but it's not this. Okay, it even feels like or looks like half lotus. Okay, but it's a different sensation. This is half lotus for me. This feels fine. Okay, but what changes this is this angle of the leg. So I'm going to change this by sending the shin forward or foot forward. So my shin is parallel to the front edge of the mat. Okay? We're going to stack the leg on top of the other. It's got 3 names. We have double pigeon, okay? Or the formal name is ankle to knee pose. That's the name of the posture. Or fire logs, like you're stacking fire logs. And so you stack ankle over knee, knee over ankle on that side, and there's our hip opener. You may have a gap here. That's fine. Okay. To shorten that gap, you might just push into the floor with the hands and lift. Making space here might release the hips a little bit. It may go down a little bit. If this is way too much, bring the foot wherever your knee is, go that way. Go in the direction of the knee, slide it back. Okay, that'll help. If you need more, go the opposite direction. Okay, so let's try that. Let's start with the left leg underneath. Okay, on the bottom there, flexing the foot, see if you can get your shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. So the heel not close to the body, pushed away, best as you can, yeah? We'll take the right leg, stack, ankle to knee, okay? If this is your pose, okay, because it could be, big gap, no worries. Just bring this foot back away from the knee so you can lower it a little bit, yeah. You can even place, if you got a block or something, just to close the gap, you can do that too, okay? Now, if this feels fine and your hips can tolerate this, fine. Still, you may want to push into the floor to lift, get a long torso, more open hips. You can even send heart forward. That adds a lot of sensation for me. Okay, if that's too much, come up or change where your feet and legs are. Double pigeon. Yes. Getting those outer hips. Doesn't take much, really, huh? About three more breaths.
Leave me a hamburger,
Oh. My battery's dying. Rising up. Did you like that? That was my phone. I said, feed me a hamburger, please. It's hungry, needs to be charged. Let's uncross. Let's do the other side. So right leg beneath, shin parallel to the front edge of your mat as best as you can. We'll take this left ankle, stack it on the knee. Might be a gap. Okay. Slide the foot past the knee if that's going to help. You might even just adjust your seat. Okay. Even just the weight of your hand, you don't have to push, but just the weight of your hands here can help too, just to bring a little bit more weight to that top leg. Or push into the floor, lifting torso, yeah. Folding, yeah, play with these different sensations. Add more, okay, or subtract. So that you find the sensation that fits you best today. There we are. Three more breaths. After your third breath, okay, if you're folded, we're just going to come back up. Even lean back, hands behind you so we can uncross the legs. Let's come back to a boat pose, even if you modify it here with heels on the ground. Let's go through a little vinyasa. We're going to go back to our pigeon, okay, the other pigeon. Inhale. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front or to the side, back to plank pose. Strong, straight legs here. If you're able, Chaturanga Dandasana. Moving through this back bend, it could be a low one. Downward facing dog. Pigeon pose. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Bend and twist open. Right knee to the floor behind the wrist, angled leg. Left knee to the floor. Let's crawl that left leg back. Okay, just settle into the hip. You don't have to go down too far. Maybe there's a lot of space between you and the floor. That's fine. But here's our change. We're not going to fold forward. That's prep. We already prepped. Okay, we're going to do a couple things. First, come up onto your fingertips, but then bring them to the side. Here. So you can push down to lift up, kind of like our up dog that we did earlier. You can be way up here, but if that's too much, lean forward. Even step the hands forward. Maybe this is the pose. Okay, here's our added bonus. Let's bring right hand in front. It could be fingertips or palm on the floor, just for balance. You might need to lean into this hand. If you're able, bend your left knee. Bring your heel towards your backside, like so. If you can, free up the left hand, reach back. If you can reach the foot, touch it, or grab it and pull it in. If you can't, just reach back. Okay. That's why we did all that shoulder work earlier. So you can reach behind you, in this case, grabbing the foot. drawing it in. You're going to get into your thigh a little bit here too. So this is just one of the variations of pigeon pose. Okay, we've modified it a little bit. Okay, just one more breath. We're going to carefully release that back foot. Hands around to the front. Okay, here's what I like to do. Since we sunk back or sunk into the hips, tuck toes behind you, crawl forward. Okay, so you can get the weight into your hands. So we can pick up that back knee and step the right foot back. So return to plank and just maybe take a shortcut to down dog or go through the whole vinyasa if you'd like. Just make sure you feel like you're extending and lengthening your spine in down dog. And then other side, left leg extends into the air, bend and twist, and pigeon pose set up on this side. So left knee to the floor behind the wrist, angled leg, right knee comes down. You'll feel the weight is forward. Let's find it by moving it back to center right there. We're not going all the way down. Okay, we're coming up onto the fingertips just to get taller and a little bit longer in the arms. Hands can stay here or by your side, so you can continue to push down to lift up to the back bend that feels right for you. Remember, you can always modify. Now, feel free to stay just like this. If you want to go for that extra, it's the King Pigeon pose. Left hand comes in front for a little balance, so you can lean forward, so you can bend your right knee. Free the right hand if you're able. Reach back, even if you're just grabbing air. You can also, if you can find some balance, maybe lift this front hand, okay? These are just different variations of the pose, okay? A big variation, I mean, we're modifying this posture, but what we could do, if you're able, we're holding onto the foot back here, but if you're able to get the foot into the bend of your elbow, I can't do it now. This frees up the hand. Let's imagine I'm doing that. Let's imagine my foot is in the bend of my elbow. This hand is free. This hand would come up and you'd bind, okay? But you're still holding onto your foot. Okay, let's release. His hands come down to the front, okay? Getting the weight away from center, crawl or shift forward, get weight into the hands, so we can step back into plank pose, hold plank, and then just bring knees to the floor. Sit back into hero. We're going to lie down again. So off to the side, legs to the front, and then lie all the way down. You can bring knees into chest. Now we only have a few more minutes here, so I'm just going to invite you to move into any other pose that would feel good for your body. We can return to those hip openers we did at the beginning of practice, like happy baby pose or reclining cobbler's pose. Or you might want to add a twist here. That might feel good. Even a back bend like bridge. Okay, so just kind of intuitively move, not really needing to think about what you can do, but just let the body move into it, the place that feels right. Even if you're moving in a style that doesn't have a yoga name, that's fine. Whenever you feel complete, just make your way to a comfortable, relaxing position. That could be Shavasana. Could be any other pose that would feel restorative to you. Something where you can feel the muscles disengage, you can relax, just kind of melt into the earth. And just taking some time here for you. Continue to be mindful of your breath, helping you to remain here, present, in the moment, now. And once again, return to the awareness of your breath. And with this awareness, take 5 slow, deep breaths. Intentional breathing, just as you did at the beginning of your practice. Awareness of how your body is responding to each inhale and each exhale. The rise and fall of your belly or chest. The quiet whisper of the breath. And as you're breathing, feeling a new energy move through your body, allowing it to circulate through you. And even feeling movement return to your body. And after your 5th breath, move in slow motion. Carefully roll to one side of your body. Just pausing for a moment in this nurturing pose. Take a new breath and gently press your way up to seated. Nice and tall in your seat, lengthened spine, relaxed shoulders. And your hands can just remain resting on your knees or in your lap, or bring hands to heart center. And wherever you are, just taking one more full and complete breath in and out. Nice. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.